Guilty of crime.
Midnight Lace says, let's go. Hello, everybody. We're back. I'm your host, Jay, with Guilty of Crime, and another episode. Guys, happy Tuesday. I'm ready for y'all. Yesterday was members only Monday chat, so I didn't see everybody, but I do now. Thank you guys for being here. The Nolan Wells mystery. Guys, what really happened on Horn Island? Rumors and lies need to stop. When you have room for speculation, we're going to speculate. And guess where we're going with speculation? Everywhere. We're going everywhere, from freaking Al Sharpton talking to, my goodness, to civil leaders, black community, racism. What? How did this happen? How did we get here? Anyhow, guys, today we're going to talk factually about the case. And when I say factually, guys, I didn't even realize how much evidence we don't have. All right. So it's interesting that we come into this case and so many rumors, so many people covering it, so many lies, so many things being spit out, so many narratives, when we actually only have really just a couple sentences worth of information. We do not have a toxicology report, and we do not have a medical examiner report, and initial findings of Nolan's body doesn't show anything apparent. Kind of like Elena Moore. Okay, Elena Moore, we know that nothing apparent. She was right off the edge of that little bridge area. They found her dead. Nothing apparent that they can just visually see. All right, and even not visual, when they start doing the medical examiner autopsy and going back in, they're not finding anything that's out of place. So that being said, guys, we're going to look at the facts, and then we're going to look at the side of, well, where this is headed right now, because that's where this is headed right now, is for some, it's a huge case that's turned into racism. All right. And the black community doesn't like it as much as I don't like it. And yes, I agree. Too many black males get cut down in their prime. And, many of them don't get the spotlight that Nolan Wells has gotten. And maybe that's the strategy. Maybe it's the strategy in order to break this case open and give him attention, no matter what, that they're going to come this way with these civil rights leaders and lawyers. I just don't see it yet. But as we go, I will, like I said, I'll give you the facts of the case, what happened, when, where. We don't know why yet, and we don't know how. So filling in the blanks will be a good thing for me today, to kind of give to you what's actually happening, what's being said. Guys, Cajun Navy was actually out there searching. I love that they just kind of got their YouTube channel rolling. And today we're going to talk with Cajun Navy about what they saw in their search and debunking some of these damn lies. There's a bunch of lies that have no basis for anything, and contradictions. I mean, there's a lot of that between the friends and people pointing the finger. Remember, allegedly, Noah Wells stayed with a girl and they left him behind to stay with a girl. That's happened hundreds of times in all of our lives, I guarantee you. But this particular time it happened and it went wrong. All right. So we're going to get into all that. A lot of you guys don't even know about the case. Let me say, come on in, guys. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't. Get a membership if you can. Members only Mondays. We're going to be switching those up to members only chat and then, members only. So, hello, everybody. Good to see you, Deb. I was already chatting with you. Good to see Foxy's back, guys. We are on the lookout for her. Kel, good to see you. Jen's a Gypsy. Wesley, much love to you. All right. Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. I'm not sure to say that, but I'll call it Hobloni. I'm not sure. That's why we're going to get to the facts today instead of all of these crazy rumors. But we are going to talk about the rumors so that we can kind of debunk them just a bit. We don't have any of that information to even put out there, which is wild to me because I thought there was going to be so much more than there is. But frankly, there's just not. All right. Never seen the trolls. Donna, Maggie, my girl Tiff, hope you're doing okay. I know it's hot out there, guys. It's hot. Channel 53X, doing very well. Midnight Lace, good to see you. Lady for Justice. Lolo, good to see you. All right, where's my cooling Chris? There's Crazy Jane. DB Bentley, how you doing? Shadow, what's up, y'all? Come on in, hit that like button. Mystic Artistry North. All right. Help us get to the goal today. When we get about an hour to 45 minutes in, I'll gift some memberships from me to you. And if you all want to help me get to that, that would be awesome to get to the goal. Also, it's birthday month, guys. My birthday is in 11 days, July 25th. And I know that I share it with so many others. So happy Cancer and Leo season. Elvin, good to see you. Big hugs. Missed you. I hope your husband is doing well with his recovery. Of course. All right, guys, let's get to it. I know it's hot AF everywhere. Cheeky, how you doing? 100 PR, rockin' Princessa. My hubby and I logged in. Are so excited. Love y'all. Well, welcome. Hello, hubby, and everybody out there. If you guys have the heat and the forest fire smoke, try to hide from it. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, man. There's a lot of gaslighting going on from both sides. And I'm going to be very fair in this episode and show you what the facts are. And we'll talk about the speculation, of course, with the Black community weighing in, right? Because how else would that be fair if we just have, well, we heard from the kids and it's a bunch of white children that maybe did something to this Black kid. And, we got a lot of speculation. I use that voice because frankly, to me, there's not basis for that yet. But when I look at these fights that happen, I'm looking at X and there's a fight going on with a super, we'll say white guy with a beard and the typical, the white kind of supremacist look. I can see where we're getting hung up on that. So here we go, guys. We're at Horn Island. First of all, let me put this up. Justice for Nolan Wells. If you know nothing about this case, great. If you know about this case, great, even better. There's not a lot for me to cover that I thought. There's a lot to cover about the speculation and lies, but there's not a lot to cover as far as the information that has come out. Melissa, guilty of crime. I'm here. It's my birthday. Happy birthday. Invented at the beach with my boys. Had a great day. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. I'm here for the show. Well, Melissa, very happy birthday. She's a Cancer. You're in my birthday month, so happy freaking birthday. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you get the boys back full-time very soon. All right, yep, opt-in, 420 membership. You guys want to win a membership? Stick around, hit the like button, drop comments, and all of that. All right, everybody's welcome. Everybody's sending you a warm, happy birthday. All right, let's get into justice for Nolan Wells. The reason I even say justice for Nolan Wells is because this young kid, this young quarterback, this young guy that had so much life, guys, what began as a 4th of July celebration on Horn Island ended in tragedy when 18-year-old college football player Nolan Xavier Wells vanished, guys, and he was later found dead along the remote Mississippi shoreline. Now, his disappearance and death have sparked national attention. I'd say international as well. Questions about the investigative transparency and then the public debate over whether there's foul play or not. Guys, we're not even past is there foul play or not. So I'm going to ask you that today. Now, I will go over the timeline in just a bit, but let's go back to July 4th for just a second. July 4th, 2026, 10 days ago, 18-year-old college athlete Nolan was joined for a holiday boat trip on Horn Island in Mississippi. All right, so take a look. You see Nolan there. A lot of speculation of different things going on and him hanging out with a bunch of white boys that now seem to be hiding their social media. But why? All right, so let's go here for a minute because I really want you to see this. If you're not from this area and you just have no idea like myself, well, you want to look up what is Horn Island? What the hell is that? What are they doing out there? Is it a established place where they got a bunch of, might be cameras that can see what happened? Or is it, just somewhere where the boats go, they bring the party, they party, and then they go, right? So that's what we're looking at today. That's beautiful, by the way. And when I look at the boats down there and I see the view, I mean, what else could you possibly want on a summer day with your friends, right? Grab a tent, get your beer out, whatever's going on, hang out with your boat. Of course, you're going to look at the ladies, all the ladies in the bikinis. And guys, I'm going to be 47 in less than 2 weeks. And this was my life. When I grew up in Oakdale and Modesto, this was my life. It was the lake, it was the river, it was the boats. That's all there is to do in the valley is those kind of activities. You know how many times my girlfriends and boyfriends, no matter how much they say, hey, let's stick together, guys, if they got some booty, they got some booty. Just say it. And I'm not saying Nolan did anything or he did or he didn't. But the story is that he got hooked on a girl that he liked. Maybe they were making out. He was vibing. And he said, go ahead. I'm going to go. You stay. But then it comes in. Wait a minute. Why would he leave his phone? That's the number one thing. Why didn't he take his phone? If he's going to go do that, why not? So listen, there's not much, guys. 4th of July, 18-year-old Nolan joins his friends for a holiday trip, Horn Island, Mississippi. Guys, by sunset, he was missing. That was like 3 o'clock was when they started looking, and then they realized by sunset, he's missing. Nothing happens. 2 days later, guys, he was found dead. All right, today we're going to break down the timeline. We're going to look at conflicting stories and theories surrounding this deeply troubling case. It's already troubling. All right. So Nolan traveled with friends to this island around 3 p.m. Witnesses say he was last seen wearing blue swim trunks and sunglasses. All right. According to his friends, which is the accounts that we have, he'd catch another ride back and they left the island without him. Nobody thought anything, according to their story. And at 11 p.m., Nolan's family receives a call from one of the boys and says Nolan's missing. His mother immediately contacted authorities, and by the next morning, guys, a massive search was underway involving the sheriff's department, Coast Guard, and United Cajun Navy. Now, when I say that, hey, that's great that they came in, but I'm also going to report what they found and what they're saying about this situation as their boots on the ground, guys. They're boots on the freaking ground. What better information can you get? Midnight Lace, my girl, thank you for the Guilty of Crime membership and the second Guilty of Crime membership. Guys, if you received that membership from Midnight Lace, please thank them. All right. So, and I'm looking up swimming deaths, right? Just in the past few years, I've seen and heard of Black celebrities who died from drowning. Now, why do I even bring Black into this? Well, because it's been brought into this, right? So Malcolm Jamal Warner, 54 years old, in July of 2025, he was in Costa Rica, and his death was ruled asphyxia by submersion. He drowned. He was trying to get his baby. A current came. He tried to save his baby, and Malcolm Jamal Warner drowned out in Costa Rica. I didn't even realize that Whitney Houston, actually, at 48 years old, died of an accidental drowning in the freaking bathtub of a Beverly Hilton hotel. Now, guys, drugs were found in her system, but the immediate cause was drowning. And that's like this case. We don't know. We don't see bruises. Nobody beat him up that they can tell. We don't have toxicology. We know they were drinking all day. So I'm just trying to get out the information that they have so you can have it. All right. Now, that's the thing is the girl said he stayed to talk, said he left with his friends on the boat. He did not stay with her. So here's where the contradictions come in, and it's so easy to find them. It's so easy for me to find a ton of them. All right, from the Santiagos, much love to you. All right, Auntie Ree got the avocados. All right. Well, you know what? We haven't got the toxicology report. That's the problem. We don't know if someone slipped some Molly into it or he wanted to take Molly. We don't know. This is all speculation because, well, that's all we have right now. All right. Okay. So look, thank you, Foxy, for the 420 membership in honor of her brother, Christopher. That is gone way, way too soon. All right. Way too soon. Just like Nolan. This shouldn't even be a thing. But guys, July 6th, 2 days later, a park ranger finds his body on the northwest end of Horn Island. It was Nolan. Officials said there was no sign of foul play, but they didn't release a cause of death just yet. So guys, there's 10 days. We don't have any of that back. Friends say that Nolan chose to stay behind. Right? Investigators say the group is cooperating, but Nolan's family disputes this story. They point to the delays in the search, missing details, and Nolan's strong swimming ability, guys. This is one of the theories that's debunked today, is that he drowned because he didn't know how to swim or because he was drunk. Guys, he was a strong swimmer, even more so than just that. Now, while the death of him is capturing international attention, there just came a viral video of an argument. Some people believe that Nolan was involved. One of the boys later said the confrontation was actually between the boy and someone else, that it had nothing to do with Nolan. So there you go. There's another thing. All right. Was this an accident? Is it a misunderstanding? Or is it something more nefarious? Now, guys, I got to tell you, authorities are leaning towards an accidental drowning right now, and the family believes the key details just don't add up. So they've hired their own team. Investigators are now reviewing reports of a possible altercation on the island. Okay. The family, well, I should say Nolan's parents have hired civil rights attorneys, guys, Ben Crump, and commissioned an independent autopsy, which they should do that. They should absolutely do that. They say they won't stop until they know exactly what happened to Nolan. So we're waiting on that. We have nothing. This case is still unfolding. Investigators are continuing their work, and the public is demanding transparency. You guys tell me what you think happened on Horn Island. Let's go. Drop it in comments, guys, all right? Because that is the information we had. Friends told investigators he chose to stay behind and catch another ride. One friend called the family at 11 p.m. to report him missing, and other friends claimed that Nolan had been talking to a girl where his body was found just shortly before they left. And then the viral video comes in, circulates an argument, and now everyone's talking about that confrontation being him or not. All right. Investigators say the friends are cooperating, and they've gone silent on social media and closed accounts down because of the harassment. Okay. Now, I have 5 possible theories that we're going to talk about after we get into this just a bit more. All right. So come on in, guys. Drop your comments, drop your theories. I've got 5 of them for you, 5 separate theories, and all the information that you possibly can need to move forward in this case today. All right. So don't worry. We'll get you way up to speed on this. And let me throw in a clip quickly. Friend of Nolan speaks for the first time since his death yesterday. All right. Everything else that I pulled is from yesterday and on. So it's all new information. We know there was almost an hour long press conference with the family and their advocates. Guys, they did all lawyer up. I agree. They all lawyered up, which doesn't mean a thing. They also were all looked at immediately. So, I'm definitely not on one side or the other at all, guys. I'm on no side. I'm on justice for Nolan Wells. That's the side I'm on. I'm here to pick through the information I have, give you my theories, and then let law enforcement do their job. I have no kind of agenda here, and I have no reason to say, well, the white boys didn't do it, or the white boys did it, or I have no reason to say that. Now, there was an argument, but they were claiming that that was not freaking him. Now, the argument was audio. There's another footage that was released about from the lake from 4th of July that is a fight that happened. But they're saying who's the guy, who's the aggressive towards, and what is that? You know what? Let me just, before I even show this, let me pop that up so you can see immediately what I'm talking about. So when I come here and I make this episode for you, and I start telling you about this young man, Nolan, that drowned and died, is there foul play or not? Right? That's all the information I have is that. I just gave it to you. Right? I haven't even given you the timeline yet. And I get this message, and I'm watching this video of the day that Nolan and his friends were out there. Right? So I have no info other than that, and this is what I see.
Oh. Ih, que grandão lá tá bravo, hein? Mas pegar só o menininho?
Aham.
Não, tem um outro grandão lá que pegou também.
And guys, when I'm looking at these guys, I mean, you don't necessarily see a black community or black children in these boats. And you can see it's all white people. And where I grew up was too. There was like 2 African Americans in my entire school the whole time I was growing up in Oakdale and Modesto. Okay, so you're seeing this right now. Holly, thank you so much. Choo choo. Birthday month, baby. Happy birthday to everybody. All right. So you see this, and you see these uber white people that are mad. You see a guy walk out with a bloody face. Yeah, for real. You just don't. That's just, it's not the black community going out on boats, right? They're not, particularly, you don't see like black families out there. They're not suntanning. They're not sunbathing like many of us and you do. It just doesn't happen. And this situation, you hear about this kid that died. You hear that there's civil rights leaders and something came in about him being black and it's racist, and you see this and you're like, oh.
Mas o homão desse batendo fraqueza é fácil, né? Pega no seu tamanho, doido.
Não, esse negócio de vídeo não é negócio de tamanho, não. O negócio você não pode tomar a primeira.
Ó, alguém chegou um grandão. Opa. Vai, grandão, mete o pé nesse trem, doido.
Dá nele, derruba esse homem aí.
Now, there's one black guy walking by, and again, I'm just being real with y'all. The reason you guys come here is so that I can be real with you, and that's me being real with you, okay? You can see it, plain as day. There's a ton of white dudes out there raising hell, and you got one black guy walking by with a hat on, trying to make sure he's not in the sun. Got a shirt on, got a hat, right? Just going to it. We don't know who that guy is, but when you hear about that and you see this, I can see where people would say, well, maybe.
Vai. Ele vai. Olha lá, ó. Ele vai. Deixa ele ir.
All right. So why is this guy so mad? Why was the guy's nose bleeding? What the hell happened? Now, let me jump to this really quickly. We love little Javea, but all right. So look, check this out, guys. Again, I've given you the information. It's about a sentence. It's like one sentence, right? The case is unfolding. What happened was the friend said Nolan stayed behind to catch another ride. Hours later, family reports him missing at 11 p.m. They got there at 3 p.m. and they say Nolan was talking to a girl where his body was ultimately found. Then you get this circulated online speculation of this argument with audio. There might be another one, and they're stating that was not Nolan. That had nothing to do with him. And investigators say that the friends are cooperating. What's the deal? Why are you guys doing that? All right. Cool this guy. Yeah, I don't know what the fight was about there, but you know what I'm saying? This is why people are confusing the situation because they don't know what's going on. There's just simply not enough information. So, look, YGE Young Flip on the 12 post, Nolan Wells, you guys were asking about timestamps and wondering about Evan's thread post before he made his page private. I made sure to include all screen recordings so you guys can see that Evan did actually post those pictures on his actual page. Now, mind you guys, those boys that he was with before this was removed is all of them. They're all of his friends. They're all tagged in there. Nothing's blurred out in these images. All right. And look at him. There's what? 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white guys and 1 black guy. Every picture there's one guy that's black and everybody else is white. So I can see where, you know, that might come in. So let's take a look at the stuff that was deleted and what do you think? All right. What you think? Colleen, good to see you, my friend. Coffee and Dog Studios, shout out to Vermont. What's up? All right. So let's take a look at this. All right. This is all you know about this case. This is all I know, literally about a sentence or two. I am going to tell you the possible theories that I have based on the information I have and what I'm showing you. And we're going to talk to United Cajun Navy. I actually think I can get them on my channel as well, guys. I'd love to do that. I think it'd be an easy interview to get. They want to talk. They want to grow their page. So let's take a look at Evan, one of his friends. These guys are being harassed. People from the black community are calling these people racist and saying they're a bunch of bad guys and they purposely did this. There was foul play. They beat him up. They covered it. Okay. They're saying that's him back there. He made it back. There's just a ton of speculation. 7 days ago, edited 6 days ago, but it's captured. It was made. This is made private, this account. So we cannot go to Evan Knowles' account and see this. Here it is. All right. Timestamps from Evan's thread on 7-Eleven. He made his page private. All right. So he's trying to show what he has and shutting down his page. Now, again, people are questioning. This wasn't Nolan's first trip with his group of friends. All right. Nolan posted trips with his friends on a boat back in November of 2025 and February 2026. All right. Why isn't any major outlet interviewing his white friends? You see how this is even posed, right? Why are they mute? Why are their parents the only ones hugging? If there's nothing to hide, then show your faces. And again, I'm just reading you what they put. I'm not trying to call out these children. I'm not trying to do any of that. Then the new pictures that just came out. Did Nolan's friend really delete this? Are they hiding something? After what's up with the comments that said the boat was being cleaned after he went missing? That's another red flag. Is that true or is it not? Now, Ben Crump and the family, I'm going to throw in there, is amplifying the shit out of all of this. All right.
Missing and was posted on Instagram by one of his friends, but then he immediately took it down. Now, keep in mind, this photo was posted by Ben Crump. Now, it was from the community, but obviously he's putting a lot of these stories on a bigger platform. The next screenshot is coming from a woman named Kim Brawley, and someone with the name of White Lotus Living left a pretty damning comment if true. She's alleging that the boat was cleaned at 3 a.m. 3 days ago. All of this information is coming from the Instagram.
Guys, we got 121 people. I love it. We're not going to tolerate any kind of fuck shit today, though. All right. Not even a little bit, not even on the borderline of trolling. When we're talking about a case where Nolan Wells went missing, then ultimately was found dead, and we have a bunch of speculation, and that's all. What do you mean? What these pictures mean for this case? If you have to ask that question, then you weren't listening to me at all. All right. So I don't know if you're trying to troll or what, but no offense, but I don't see anyone pissed when black people kill one another. I sharpen. Yeah, that's what I mean. And I'm good. I want you guys to give your opinion. I'm giving you what I have surrounding this case. And yeah, I'm just not going to tolerate any kind of nonsense today. I'm not for that. Any kind of fuck shit is not okay. I'm giving you what I have. And guys, I put a lot of my time and effort into these cases, as well as the passion that I have for them. So please show me the respect as well. But I've been with you since week 3. Remember, for 13 months. Welcome. Big hugs to you, Coffee Dog Studio. Love ya. My mom's so pissed. I love my mom. Look at her. My mom doesn't like you, Jamie. I don't know what you did, but she's not feeling it. If Mama Pearl says get out of here, then you got to go. All right. Racism needs to stop. The lies need to stop. The rumors need to stop. And I'm telling you right now, I'm giving you the information and the speculation that's out there. If you can't understand that, then you're on the wrong channel.
Instagram of Ben Crump, which, look, none of this is verified. And I'm going to get to the bottom of these 2 photos in this video.
I'm Kimberly. I'm a former law professor with a JD LLM, a musical artist, a comedian.
Okay, now this raises some alarms. I don't know if this is true, but
all right. So again, we just have her talking about them cleaning a boat. If you hear that, and you hear that your homie went missing and these white guys covered up all their stuff, and you got Reverend Al Sharpton and all these big media people, and you see this fight, this kid nose bleeding, this guy mad, and you're hearing all this shit, you're going to be pissed too. And you're going to start saying, oh, his friends are hiding, and it's you're going to get into this. Look at this. Family and friends of Nolan Wells speaks out, and now it's become something of the races. We don't even know if it's a foul play yet, but yet we have a racism case, an international one at that. All right. Little Reds in the house, regardless of what comes or doesn't. Please show grace. Oh, yeah, of course. Pause. Pause. Absolutely. You must be new to the channel because we do not victim blame or victim shame. And the parents, they get the same respect as a victim does. I'm presenting both sides to you. You guys can decide where you fit in. All right. And you know what? Nothing wrong with a lot of alcohol. You're not supposed to drink when you're only 18, but we know that happens. All right. Again, I grew up with a boat in the water, in the lake, in the ponds, anywhere you can go that was cool and wet with people. And guys, I'm not white either. Look at me. I sure don't fit in with all the white folks. All right. But I never made it racist unless it was. So let's continue. Again, all of that is just speculation because all we really know is what I've given you. All right. So let's take a look. Let me pull this up real quick. There's a lot of information. Let me get to this real quick. Okay. So what happened? Wells is a wide receiver at Southwest Mississippi Community College. He went to the island on 4th of July with a group of friends. Around 3 p.m., he told the group he didn't get a ride back. He'd get a ride back to the mainland with someone else. He was not seen alive again. Guys, I just told you what happened in about 2 breaths, about 2 sentences. I told you the information that we have. All right. So July 3rd, Wells has dinner with his family. CNN reports, and then he leaves to spend the night with friends ahead of the holiday, 4th of July. 4th of July comes. He travels to Horn Island with friends, where he was last seen at 3 p.m. He tells the group he'll find another ride, and his friends leave without him, according to them. 7 hours or so later, his family gets a call from one of the friends, reports him missing. Next day, his mother, Christine, posts on social media asking for help finding her son. The Jackson County Sheriff's Department works with the Coast Guard and United Cajun Navy, which I cannot wait to get into that interview. All right. Now, the United Cajun Navy says the search began after Wansley reached out directly. All right. That's his mom. His mom proactively reached out for the search, and rightfully so. We keep saying, why are the parents hiding? Why aren't the parents doing what this beautiful mom is doing and getting out there and digging and finding stuff and doing independent research? The efforts resume the next morning with help from a helicopter. They find his body. All right. And this team is put together. We got Al Sharpton there. We've got Ben Crump, who's a civil rights attorney. Okay. That's after July 6th, his body's found. Now, news conference, his mom says the sheriff's early statements made her uncomfortable, and she calls for more transparency. Then we get civil rights activist Reverend Al Sharpton. Sharpton says he is not ruling out race as a factor in Noah's death. He tells reporters that the key details of this case do not make sense. And I agree. Why don't they make sense? Because I'm going to tell you in a second. Now, Crump says results from a private independent autopsy are expected soon. That was 3 days ago. Investigators are now looking into reports of an alleged altercation involving Wells before his disappearance. Okay? All right, let's continue. I'm so glad you guys are here with me. I love it. I love that you guys are just who you are. All right? I love it. Let's get to, where do I want to take you now? You know what? We should just get into this, but before we do, before I say, this is the Nolan Wells update. This came out yesterday. Okay, new evidence claims he was betrayed by his white friends. Okay, but before that, I'm going to tell you possible theories based on what I seen. I don't know why this isn't adding it. Hold on. You are being naughty. StreamYard's being naughty right now, guys. Hold on. All right, so let's see if you can see that now. There you go. Thank you, Princessa and husband. Love you guys. Well, that's what we're going to get. We're working our way there, my friends. We are working our way there. All right? Like I said, anybody can come in at any time. She is a mother and doing everything she can for help. She wants the truth. I would fight for my son. She is very smart and is doing all she can. I agree. And at the end of the day, she is a victim. Her son was a victim of, we don't know, foul play or a tragic accident. We don't know yet. Either way, he was a victim and he succumbed to a drowning, if that's what the coroner finds out. Okay? All right. He very easily could have got away from the drama, intoxicated, drowned. I know that's why I'm saying these are speculations, because we don't have any other information. Now, listen, real quick, based on what I've been seeing, number one theory, and this is pushed, I'm going to tell you, this is being pushed by not only law enforcement and people that were there, but people that are just taking this case and looking at strictly facts. Their theory is that it was an accidental drowning, and they have not found any evidence of foul play and believe Wells may have just drowned, may have been intoxicated all day long with his friends and drowned. But the challenge to that, he's a trained swimmer, guys. Noah was a trained swimmer. What does that mean? It could mean nothing. No cause of death has been released yet, so we don't really know that he drowned. What is he a victim of? Well, he lost his life, guys. Friends say that he chose to stay behind in another ride. That's another speculation, that he chose to stay behind. Others say that he didn't stay behind and he made it with them and something happened afterwards. Okay, that's a separation gone wrong. That's the second theory. But why would he stay without his phone, guys? And why did he not contact anybody to return it? You guys tell me if that's the case. I don't know any teenagers, especially ones that are trying to hook up with girls and get their phone number, that don't want their phone. Okay? Again, I'm like Switzerland right now. I'm giving you the facts and I'm staying neutral on what's happening. Okay? Sadie's mama, big hugs to you. Are you leaving? All right. Are you? I can't read all the comments, but anyhow. All right, listen. So that's a challenge. I just gave you accidental drowning is theory one. Voluntarily separating, that's the second theory. An altercation or conflict on the island, that's a third theory. Investigators are reviewing all possible reports of a confrontation, but conflicting accounts around the video have been reported and no physical evidence of assault was reported, nor are they finding anything on his body, just visually. Number 4, negligence or a delayed response. A press release about the missing teen wasn't issued until July 5th at 12:31 p.m., more than 12 hours after the family reported him missing. So they're saying it was negligent. They could have found him alive, but they didn't due to the delayed response, right? Could earlier search efforts have the same outcome? Last but not least, some type of foul play, and that's where the family comes in. They say that the conflicting stories, the missing details, and the racial dynamics are just way too much that don't make sense, and there's no evidence, but there's no evidence of a crime. right? Katie McCormick. You guys may ask, the girl Nolan was talking to, why didn't Katie just come out and say something? That's what I'm asking too. Let's take a peek. Actually, before we do that, let me hop on this real quick. I need you guys to see this so we can jump into
mysterious death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. For the first time, one of Wells' friends who was with him during that 4th of July boating trip is speaking out. He's responding to the growing questions surrounding the teen's death and the speculation that has exploded online. Investigators say Wells disappeared during a trip to Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast. His body was found there 2 days later. 16 WAPT's Carlos Garcia here now with us with what that friend is saying, Carlos.
That's right. Well, Nolan Wells' friend says that it wasn't Nolan that was featured in a viral video appearing to show several people arguing, but rather it was him engaging in the verbal altercation while Nolan was elsewhere.
I just know I've lost my best friend.
For the first time, a friend who was with 18-year-old Nolan Wells the day he disappeared is speaking out. Trayston Shepard declined to appear on camera, saying he and the others who were on the boat have been receiving threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Shepard also addressed this viral video that has fueled speculation online. Nolan's parents believed it showed their son involved in a confrontation. But Shepard says it wasn't Nolan, it was him.
That's the video I'm referring to.
There you go. There you go. Again, this is all going to come back to their statements, to the evidence. It's all going to come back. They're all going to look at them and say, okay, he said this is that. So when you ask, why are those clips that I showed you earlier relevant to this case? Because they are. Because they're intertwined in this case, and that's what's causing this. Well, that's not what's causing this racial tension. What's causing the racial tension, in my opinion, something may have behind the scenes caused that, just because maybe there was already a stigma there with Nolan just hanging out with a ton of white people and being the only black guy, right? But we're going to get the black community to weigh in. And when I say that, guys, I did a lot of research today. And ever since this weekend, since Tiff said, we got to cover this case, I've researched the shit out of this case to find out more for you about the friends, about the girl, about the things, about the speculation. All right.
That's me yelling.
Shepard says he returned to the mainland later that afternoon, while Wells stayed behind on Horn Island with a girl he had met that day.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they'd ever hung out, was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say they found no immediate signs of foul play, but his parents continue to question that conclusion. They told ABC's Good Morning America they tracked Nolan's cell phone after he disappeared and believe it was back on the mainland.
It was showing everywhere the phone had been. I was like, well, it's showing that he's back on land.
The Jackson County Sheriff's Office says the family has not yet turned the phone over to investigators, though their attorneys say they plan to do so. As the investigation continues, Shepard says he hopes people will remember the friend he lost.
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
Well, Shepard said he has spoken to the police and that the sheriff's department said he and Wells' other friends have been cooperative.
Now, I want you to realize, if this kid is lying, he's going to be locked up. All right. He's going to be locked up, and there's going to be a very hefty sentence for this kid and the rest. All right. And I know Mississippi has some racism in it, and that's an understatement. I get it, guys. I get it. I really, truly get it. I do. I am not white, as you can see, and I did not grow up in a town where there was other people that were like me. Everybody was white. All right. It was the cowboy capital of the world. There was barely any African Americans, and the people that were Hispanic didn't speak English. So I was never really, in the crowd. I hung out with all the white people, so to speak. All right. Why did they I'm not sure about that. Did you see something, Midnight Intuition, that says that they identified him through dental records? Because I cannot see that anywhere. And just hang out in the water between them. All right, let's listen to this guy. Let's hear what he has to say.
Black families, stop with these activists. This is what got old boy 35 years in prison. You got 35 years because y'all playing these games. This kid Nolan, there's no evidence, but they interjecting this race stuff in it. And so what are you going to do in this situation? People are going to be less likely to want to resolve y'all accusing people of being racist.
My nose is out here. My eyes are here. My brain is here, which means some things I could smell before I could see and before I can figure out. This does not smell right.
You have such a history with civil rights cases. Are you suggesting race is an issue here?
We're talking about the state of Mississippi, and we know, based on the history of America, in the Deep South, there have been many racial killings where there were nobody held accountable.
Before we get back to the show, I want to tell you guys about Synergy. If you're tired of energy drinks that spike you up, make you jittery.
No, I love energy drinks that make me jittery.
Let me say this before anybody get mad at me and say I'm insensitive. It is one of the most sad stories that I have heard this year. One of them. As a parent, it is hurtful. It is devastating for your child to lose his or her life. Yep. Especially when they go somewhere with friends and they come back without the friends, and somehow your kid is floating.
God, don't even get me started. I'm coming into that time and I sympathize with them 10,000%. All right. So again, you guys know I have children and I draw from that. Okay. Baby Guilty never goes out, but yesterday I let her go out and she called me a bunch of times to stay later to go in the spa and do this and hang out. And then she wants to have a sleepover on Saturday. Guys, this is what he's talking about. Friends and kids and them hanging out and coming home and making it home. I get it. I get it more than anyone does. Allie, love the energy drink as well, right? Kills me. I think Jay was, I'm Spanish and Puerto Rican, but I don't speak Spanish, all right? So I can't hang out with my own kind when my own kind I can't speak to, right? So I get it. And the Black community says the same thing about their fellow members. If you're Black and you're hanging out with a white community, many of the Black members will laugh at you and shun you and talk shit and be like, you're white nice. You're like an Oreo cookie. You're white on the inside and black. I'm telling you, that comes straight from the horse's mouth. I'm checking right now, Midnight Intuition. I got you. That's why you guys come here, right? I got you. I'm looking. All right, let's continue. Let's speed up just a tiny bit. All right, I'm going to look up and see about the dental records.
Putting in water, and you will never see or talk to him ever again. I understand the hurt that the parents may feel, but I do not think it helps their child's cause by having Benjamin Crump on the team pushing racism. I'm going to tell you why I think all of this is disingenuous to some degree. It's a money grab and it's shameful, and they're shaming Nolan Wells' life because none of this needed to be made public. You only do this public for clout.
And he's right. This is becoming a mockery of the entire case, and we're all being distracted, guys. We are all being distracted. The fact that I was able to look into X and speculation and all the other things without knowing that Noah Wells was identified only through dental records, at least in the initial phase. But guys, this only happened 10 days ago. 10 days ago. All right. So rightfully so. I'm glad the parents are, first of all, they're victims. May Nolan rest in peace, and may they get the comfort that they know what happened to him. Okay. But every major outlet is covering this, and they have confirmed that his body was identified by using dental records. They didn't even let the parents see the body. And I don't know if that's because it's suspected a homicide. I don't know. I don't know how they work. DNA testing was still pending at the time of those reports, and no other identification method, fingerprints, ID, was mentioned for use. So yeah, that's going to put you up in arms as a parent. What? Only dental records? That was the primary way that they confirmed his identity. Why? I don't know. Do we have any medical examiners out there? DNA confirmation was planned. It hasn't been released. No sources have indicated that investigators relied on anything other than dental records. So this is all just still speculation. Why are dental records used in water-related recoveries? That's a whole other thing, guys. So let me just tell you, why would you do that in a water recovery? Why would they do that? Is that their go-to? Do they have a checkoff list when they find somebody? Well, listen, water-related recoveries, because the teeth survive the conditions that destroy almost every other part of the body, the forensic literature is extremely clear on this. Teeth are the most durable biological structures humans have, and they preserve both physical features and DNA. That's why, right? Enamel's the hardest substance, and they use that to their advantage. Soft tissue and fingerprints, guys, I hate to tell you, but 2 days later of him being in the water, porous, his fingers are porous. Everything else is bloated. There's who knows what on him. That's why they did that. The soft tissue degraded in that salt water, in the water. I don't know if it's salt, but the water and the soft tissue decomposition make visual identification sometimes impossible. All right. It erodes fingerprints and facial features and even bone surfaces, guys. The dental structures remain intact, and you could say with 100% certainty, yes, that was him. Okay. Oh my goodness, DB Bentley, welcome. Thank you. I think that's the first $50 super chat, and I see them all the time on the Chroma channel. So I'm feeling very validated right now. Thank you, DB Bentley. Seriously, with all of everything I have, thank you. I do appreciate you. All right, now you guys know, okay? So they have a protocol. I'm not a medical examiner, but if I were to guess and tell you what medical examiners have to do, I would guess that was at the top of the list. Okay. Hey, everyone. Good to see you. A person in water bloats so bad. Yep. There you go. And that's why when we don't do research and we just hear something and we jump to conclusions, well, this is what happens.
You can go get your son an alternate autopsy. You can let the authorities do an investigation. You can hire a private investigation. You can do all of these different things without it being public because you have no evidence whatsoever that there was impropriety in this investigation. So normally what a person would do is go, I'm going to do these things on the back end and compare it to what the law enforcement say. And when I see an impropriety, when I see a lack of investigatory efforts, I'm then going to make it public. But to make it public with no evidence that anything actually was afoot here, just a hunch, that says all I need to know about some people's motive.
Now, if this is all the stuff that you've already seen on other channels, this just came out yesterday. And when it just came out yesterday, there was also the new press release and a bunch of people coming forward with speculation. So, yeah, that's all you're going to hear because nothing has been released yet. And now we're talking about, is it an accident or was it foul play? And guys, I did this because one of my mods asked me to cover this. They said, this case needs more attention, Jay. And when I looked at it, I realized that it does. But because all there is speculation at this point. And these people, that the civil rights attorney and Al Sharpton, they're heavily jumping to conclusions, in my opinion.
Motives in this situation. Let's roll the news clip. Roll it.
The family says the possibility that their son accidentally drowned and was somehow separated from his cell phone and keys does not add up.
We just want to know what happened and why our baby didn't come home.
On July 4th, 18-year-old Nolan Wells took a boat trip with a group of friends to Horn Island off the Mississippi Gulf Coast, but the college football player never returned home. Police say he chose to stay behind.
It's so hard for me to believe that he would choose to stay on the island. It just wasn't his character. It wasn't his character.
Wells' mother reported him missing that night. 2 days later, a park ranger found his body in the water on the island's northwest corner. Wells' parents revealed they tracked down his keys and cell phone at the home of a friend and immediately went to his Snapchat.
When we opened it up, there was nothing. There were no saved pictures. There were no snaps from that day.
Authorities said they believe.
Like these are the things that, like, my investigatory mind. If y'all don't like the word investigatory, my investigative mind. These are the things that make me question.
I'm not even sure what's happening in chat. And Crazy Jane is always one of my favorite people. We're actually discussing theories. Maybe somebody read your comment wrong. I read your comment saying I've seen this on all the other channels. And so what I'm saying is, yeah, but this is all new information. So I don't know if somebody took the comment wrong. I'm cool with that. Yeah. Crazy Jane is awesome. I didn't mean to like say she was saying anything bad. I always love her back and forth. So sorry about the miscommunication, my friends. Let's keep going. All right. Crazy Jane is always cool. Yeah. I like opposition in a way that's productive as well. And yes, we are talking about theories because guys, that's all we have.
And I wish that people would slow down and do a little bit more due diligence before they put this out to the world. When the mother says, and first of all, I understand the parents are saying it's not in his character. That makes total sense. Second of all, black people don't mess with Nolan. I want y'all to understand, because I'm the black person snitch. I'm a whistleblower. When you see a black kid that only hang around white dudes, I haven't seen a single picture with him around a single black person. Black folks shun black people like this. Ain't nobody with him like that in the black community. I just want y'all to know.
And you know what? He is not freaking lying. All right. He is not lying. I wish I could just share everything with you, but he's not lying. I have my nephew that Mama Pearl raised with us. Same thing. Beautiful young mixed black man coming from my brother. My brother's obviously not black. He's my biological brother. Had children with an African-American woman. She's a nasty bitch, regardless of her race. And my mom raised my nephew, who is African-American. He is whitenized, according to his friends. And when he was a teenager, they would talk so much shit to him. Oh, come on, blah, 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 blah. You're so white, blah, blah, blah. They actually give him shit for it. But I do like the way this guy comes through. And I wish I could get my nephew to like just come on here and say, yeah, you would see what I'm saying. So I do have experience with this, and he knows what he's talking about here.
Oh, you get caught Uncle Tom, coon, sellout, you chucking and jiving for the white man. You telling me this boy is only hanging around white people and somehow he a part of black people shun you. So I don't want to hear no black person trying to come to his rescue now when in the black community they shun you if you hanging around white people too much. All right, and then Mama said, put Mama back on there. No, you don't have to put it on there. I can say it. Mama said when we opened his phone, we saw that his Snapchat was deleted. Here's two things that I think is important to the questions to ask to get to the bottom of what we're talking about here. Did he have a lock on his phone? Because you say when we open his phone, do you mean you had to put a code in to open his phone, or his phone was open? If his phone is open, then it's open for manipulation.
And this is exactly the same thing I was thinking. They could find that out. They just need to not jump to conclusions. And guys, if you're new here or you just didn't hear me before, every time I use a video, I reference the YouTube channel in my description. So, hey, I have no problem repeating myself 500 times. Don't worry. I'm good for that. Nolan stays behind for a girl. Why would the friend notify his parents that he's missing? Why? If they thought he would get some tail, why report him missing? There you go. But my biggest question is, why would he go without a phone? But yeah, I want to know, was the phone unlocked? They can check all of that. Why are we jumping to conclusions before we even get there? And you're right, MM Clark. Black boys die at the hands of other black boys at a much higher rate than other. And I would agree with you to an extent. All right. Laurie Johnson, hello, my friend, says my first marriage was to a black man, 1992. It was a horrible. The hate we got both. That's what has ultimately ended our relationship. We are young and didn't know how to navigate it. There you go. Dang nap. Hey, Cuff you. I'm glad you're here, though. Good to see you. All right.
If you had to put a code into his phone, or you put a thing in his phone, and maybe these kids couldn't have deleted anything from his phone. Just because you see his Snapchat phone deletion don't mean that it had anything to do with the phone, because you can log into Snapchat on other devices and still be able to engage. I think it's unfair to insinuate people have done something wrong if you don't have clear evidence. Roll it.
Wells' death was an accidental drowning, but the family's attorney, Ben Crump, says there is a video showing Wells in an argument.
You talk about this video that's out there that shows this apparent argument going on where Nolan says, where's my freaking phone? What are you freaking doing? And then his phone turns up missing.
CBS News could not independently confirm that exchange, even with the help of an audio expert. His parents remain suspicious, saying he would never have left his phone and keys behind.
Now, that to me is very suspicious if he's leaving his phone behind. His keys, maybe, because his keys was at a friend's house. Well, you're not going to take your keys to the island with you while you're swimming and going on a boat trip, because you don't need.
So, guys, we can all agree that it is out of character for anybody to leave their phone. But I'm going to throw this in there. And again, who's arguing with you? Oh, I don't know. We don't even know the context of that just yet. But let me tell you real quick. Hey, guys, I'm Switzerland today. I'm giving you what I have, and we're having a discussion. But what I can say is growing up around pools, lakes, beaches, reservoirs, anything that we could get into that would keep us from the hot sun in the valley, including lakes, boats, whatever, guys, you don't take your phone. You never take your phone. Unfortunately, that's the one thing you don't get to have is your phone. You go rafting, you usually put it inside of a bag that's a rafting bag that doesn't get water in it, and everybody throws their shit in there and they get it later. So the only thing I can say about the phone, if it is to come back, no foul play, nothing nefarious, is that his phone was in a bag with everybody else's phone, so it didn't get wet. And he's like, hey, I'm going to stay, man. I got this girl. He's drinking, having a good time. Doesn't even want to go get on the boat and get his shit. He's just like, hey, I'll catch up with y'all. I don't need a phone. I got this young lady. I'm about to get that. You know what I mean? So just saying, that's what happens when you go boating, when you go swimming. I don't have my phone on me. I always leave it somewhere behind. And I say always. I don't go out there with my phone. And that's the one thing is I don't have is that. And I appreciate that too.
The keys. So him leaving his keys behind makes sense, but his phone is a different story. And let me just say this, and I just want to get people to put the thinking cap on. If these kids did something wrong, they wouldn't keep his phone. They would throw his phone in the water. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that they did or didn't. I'm not saying that they were smart or not smart, but you would think if the kids had done something wrong to him and was trying to cover it up because they clearly said, we didn't leave with him. Do you really think that they would have his phone in their possession and they would give it to his parents? If you did something and you don't want nobody to know, the easiest thing for you to do is do what Hillary Clinton did and take a hammer and bash your phone up and sprinkle the pieces in the water. That to me makes me feel like that the friends, it's not very clear that they would have something negative to have done if they're providing the mom and dad with the things that you would destroy if you had something to do with his death, because it would be what we call evidence. Now, Benjamin Crump got on TV and lied.
All right, listen to that. That's a bold statement to say. Benjamin Crump got on there and he lied. Bold freaking statement, guys. And I hope that you guys can agree with me that if you live in the water like many people do during the summer, you don't have your phone on you. And it's not that odd to not have your phone on you, all right? But I understand what we're talking about with teens and et cetera, right? Hey, Andrea, welcome in. Love you guys. Come on in, hit that like button. All right, get yourself a membership. I will gift some memberships in a bit. And me too. That's what I do. I bring you guys content and I bring you guys fresh new creators. And when they're not new, we still are very loyal to our creators. Mom tracked the phone to their house.
Said it was Nolan on the thing. No. You should have said, if he was a real attorney, he would have said, suspected that it was Nolan. He made the declaration it was Nolan on that video. Now, roll the next clip.
Trayston Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
Time out. Y'all wrong for that. Y'all wrong. Go back. Y'all wrong for this. Y'all said, not unless this is a picture of a different friend. I swear, I hope to God that the boy in this picture ain't the boy y'all talking about. He refused to go on camera. Don't tell me, brother, you finna be rich. What a young man. Can sell me some. Because you finna be rich. There is no way, it's got to be a different buddy. There's no way that this kid told them, I'm afraid for my life, so I don't want to talk to you on camera.
But he's
and
on
they
camera.
put a picture of him on camera to the world with his voice. Roll the clip.
Trayston Shepard declined to speak with us on camera because he says he and his friends are getting threats.
We did no wrong here, and we don't understand how we're getting so much hate behind it. We all cared and loved Nolan, and nobody wanted to see Nolan die. Nobody wanted to see his life be taken so short.
Shepard addressed this viral video that investigators have been studying. Wells's parents worried it showed their son involved in a confrontation, but Shepard said that's him, not Wells.
That's the video I'm referring to. That's me yelling.
Shepard says he took a boat back from Horn Island in the late afternoon, but Wells stayed behind with a girl he had met.
They met that day, and it was kind of one of those things. It did come off that day that he really did like her, but that was the only time they've ever hung out was at Horn Island on July 4th.
Investigators believe Wells drowned and say there were no immediate signs of foul play. While the investigation goes on, Tristan Shepard wants the focus on his friend.
I want everybody just to relax and let everybody mourn the loss of Nolan, and let us remember him as in like the sweet guy.
This has to be traumatic for everybody, right? When somebody dies this way, everybody becomes a victim that is around them, unless they're the perpetrator. Hey, Ebony, good to see you. Viking Treasure, Michelle, Jen's a Gypsy. All right, now look, guys, real quick, I want to bring in the girl. I want to talk about the girl really quickly. So people say that that's why he stayed, was for a girl. Her name's Katie McCormick. All right. That girl is Katie McCormick. She was identified shortly before. Well, she was identified before he came and it was separated from the others. But Katie's mother identified in reports. Her name is Gracie. Katie's mother, Katie McCormick, Gracie McCormick, posted on social media that her daughter left the area before Nolan disappeared and that Katie didn't know what happened to him after. So there is a girl, and she was with them, but says that nothing happened in her presence and he disappeared. She doesn't know about it. There's no public evidence that Katie and Nolan were dating, despite widespread speculation, right? Neither Nolan's family nor law enforcement says they have identified her as a girlfriend, but law enforcement has not named her as a suspect, nor has any public official accused her of wrongdoing. All right. The Wells family attorney has said the woman reportedly told investigators that Nolan later left to rejoin his friends. And then that's when he didn't make it back. So is that the time in between? Remember, we don't know much. We know they got there at 3:00 and he was missing by 11. That's all we have, guys. 3:00 and 11. And then his body was found 2 days later. What can you gather from that?
I think everybody needs to let the investigation continue and let the facts be shown.
Why do white people got to always be sensical over black people? Not always, but this is why I say this. Why come a kid goes on the news and say people need to let the investigation play it out? Let's focus on his life. Let's focus on and mourn his loss instead of hiring a controversial civil rights attorney to make everything about race and nothing about Nolan. You know, we don't know nothing about Nolan other than he got killed by some white boys. This is what y'all promoting. At this point, the reason that I don't have any reason to believe there was impropriety because there's no evidence. At this point, it seemed like Nolan was hanging out with his boys. He got a little hot piece of you know what, and he wanted to stay to the island and do his game.
And that's what I'm seeing too. And then I go back to the phone and I say, well, why would he leave his phone? But then I remember people don't just carry their phones around. They don't even have shirts on. They're walking around with no shirts, some wet ass shorts, drinking in one hand, not a phone in another, trying to get some pretty girl in a bikini, right? So I could see that.
This happens every day in America. Young boy see a chick, she fine, they on vacation, he trying to smash. Can we just be honest? So Nolan was like, man, I'm finna kick it with her, man. Y'all can go back. I'm gonna hang out with her. We, hey, you see what I'm working with? Let me do my thing, and then I'll meet y'all later. That seems reasonable to this point. Now let's get to Benjamin Milk Dud, ambulance chasing Crump, and listen to the foolishness that he's saying on TV. Roll it.
Lived experience for many Black Americans that oftentimes when our children are killed in highly questionable situations, that there is this notion that, oh, it was nothing wrong, no foul play, let's just sweep it under the rug. Well, we refuse to sweep it under the rug. We refuse to just let Nolan Wells' death be in vain. We're going to make...
Well, it's not in vain. And if they find out that there was not a foul play in this situation, guys, I think they're going to go crazy and they're going to make it up. They're going to make this be bigger than they are because they're not going to come back and say, well, it came back. Even their own independent report and their own autopsy, they're not going to like this if that happens. One of his friends already said he was the one arguing. Yeah, we talked about that, James, at the very beginning. Katie just said on Facebook she was with Nolan until he went back to the boat. I know. That's what I'm saying. And that's all we have. We have 3 o'clock they got there, 11 o'clock he was missing. The in-betweens we don't have, and we don't have a phone. The phone went back with the friends. All right. So I'm not really sure how we're making a mountain out of a molehill, and racism is all of a sudden Black people must stand up. Yes, they should. And we should learn a proper lesson. If there was no foul play, you got to teach your children when they're out there, whatever, right? Don't drink. If you're going to drink on the water, whatever. There's other lessons to be learned if there's no foul play. So I can't understand why they're pushing that narrative.
Sure that we get to the truth, the whole truth, and
truth.
nothing but the truth.
Truth.
Because Nolan deserves it.
I didn't know the
He
word
said-
truth had an F on it.
He said truth.
Y'all hired that man. I need to create a consulting company. Black families, stop with these activists. This is what got old boy 35 years in prison.
It's true.
He deserved to go to prison, but he got 35 because y'all made it about race. And if you'd have partnered with his dad, with Austin Metcalf's dad, and y'all would have did a kumbaya, and he would have took the stand and showed some remorse, they probably would have gave him 10, 15 years. You got 35 years because y'all playing these games. This kid, Nolan, there's no evidence, but they interjecting this race stuff in it. And so what are you going to do in this situation? People are going to be less likely to want to resolve y'all accusing people of being racist. Here go Mr. Pinocchio. My nose is out here now. Your nose way out here, bro. Your nose, you Pinocchio in this thing. Roll the clip.
My nose is out here. My eyes are here. My brain is here, which means some things I could smell before I could see and before I can figure out. This does not smell right.
Talking about, you think a greyhound? I can smell before I can see. We humans, bro. You can see stuff before you can smell it. You can see. You can hear it before you smell it. Somebody bust a tail. Hey, man, what you doing? You heard it, you see him, but then you smell it. I'm trying to be philosophical and yeah, I see it before I smell it, and it don't smell right. To be honest, you ain't seeing or smelling nothing yet. Let little skinny, let Bobblehead finish what he's saying. Roll it.
So some people are saying, Reverend, are y'all bringing in race?
Yes.
Well, we're not bringing in race, but we're not discounting race either, because we don't know what it is. So to tell us don't rush to judgment saying it was racist is fine. But then I'm telling you, don't rush to judgment saying it was not racism.
You know how stupid you got to be to make that claim?
That is
You are a
stupid.
civil rights attorney. You guys are civil rights activists. You sorry mother suckers don't.
Sorry, mother truckers. I like that. Mother suckers, mother truckers. They're going to be able to tell if he drowned. CSI people are going to know for sure. They've seen all right. TCP, that's the whole point, is that we don't have any more information just yet. Not from an independent medical examiner, from a person doing the autopsy. We don't have any of that. All right. We literally have none of it. So it is pretty ignorant to say we're going to bring race into it because what? Now, even if law enforcement is treating it like a race, I don't understand that though. This is a legit question for you, Ebony. Where'd you go? This is a legit question. I think race could play a part in law enforcement, how they're treating this unfortunate situation. The family believes law enforcement is not being transparent or forthcoming with it. And I want to know how, in which way, number one. And number two, I don't understand how law enforcement is treating this situation as racial when they say they believe that this was simply an accident, a tragic accident, and not foul play. So I just want to know. This guy's rational, right? That's what I want to know. And yeah, wouldn't we be better suited to look at all the deaths that come from alcohol use and, let's say, minors that are, or adults that are 21 and younger? You got to remember, this kid was only freaking 18. There's no way that he's had a ton of experience with drinking in the hot sun, right? All day, being out there for hours, just smashing them at 18 years old. Does he have experience with that? Because I don't think so. Now, by the time I was 30, I was a pro at that shit, but he's 18. He's not even supposed to be legally drinking yet. And who knows how much they actually drank or what drugs they did that day. We don't know that they weren't doing little lines here and there. We just don't know. right? What about the dude, Shepard, the friend of Nolan, got into? People should also be talking to them. Absolutely. They could have retaliated. Nolan could have. You're absolutely right. They should be, and I hope they are. All right? He could have bumped it. Exactly. He could have, but he doesn't have experience. He doesn't have experience with drinking alcohol for 7-8 hours a day in the sun and all the other things that were going on. He just doesn't. He simply can't. He's only 18. All right? And he wasn't even supposed to drink it. If we want to start bringing that up.
Not one time are you going to go and defend a black kid who get killed by a black person. There's black people drowning and dying and getting raped and killed on suspicious circumstances, and y'all don't show up with a t-shirt, a fundraiser. You got to get killed by a black man, a white person, for somebody to pay for your funeral. If Nolan was out there with a bunch of from HBCU, he ain't getting the funeral. And you celebrities ain't paying for nothing. His parents gonna be doing fundraisers, doing car washes. You got to be suspected to be killed by white people for black people to care about their own people. I'm going to pay for his funeral. What's the last young brother that drowned? You ain't pay for his funeral? What's the girl that was hanging out with her black friends and got killed on some suspicious circumstances? Y'all not even paying for her funeral? You got to be suspected of a white man killing you for black people to care. All right, TMZ is asking.
And you could see how frustrating that would be, right? It is frustrating, but if you're in that community, you can see how frustrating that could be. All right. If you guys receive the membership that I gifted, come on out of the bushes and say hello. Oh, Amber Nola got one. Yay. All right. When we get into the second half, I will gift another membership. If you guys want to contribute to that by gifting a membership or getting one, don't forget, members only Monday, guys. It's going to be pretty often. I have to make a schedule, but it's not every Monday. Don't worry. You'll be with your friends. All right. All right. Let's listen real quick. And
Mr. Corrupt Crump, what do you have to say? Roll the clip.
You have such a history with civil rights cases. Are you suggesting race is an issue here?
We're talking about the state of Mississippi, and we know, based on the history of America, in the Deep South, there have been
60 years ago. You mother talking about 60 years ago. What? I just can't say no more. I think I'm done with this. Do we have something else we want to do? Because I didn't get to the next story. I'm so sick of black people being victims all the time. Oh my God. The history of this country has been great to black people. You talking about pockets of time where it wasn't optimal for nobody. Asian people were slaves in this country. Modern slaves. Building railroad, construction, mining. Recently. Jews went through the Holocaust. Recently.
Amen, man.
And y'all Negroes still out here whining.
You gotta love that, dude. Now, guys, United Cajun Navy. All right. I'm going to say United Cajun Navy. And let me pull this up real quick. Dental records confirm body in Nolan Wells. Jackson County coroner said this is July 7th. They found his body the 6th. All right. So then they identified him with dental records. And I went over about 5 minutes of why they would use dental records when someone is in water for multiple days. All right. Yes, he fits right in, right? Are there any dangerous plants, ocean life? Exactly. Why is that not being asked? I don't know. I don't know that Mississippi area. We're looking down right now at the island, and Cajun Navy is heavily involved, and that's what I'm going to get to now. It is very. You guys know I find the best things out there for y'all. All right.
Do you have a fleet vehicle? Do you have a few fleet vehicles?
And this is the 13 WLOX. I can't make the ads go away, but I just want to show you because we're going to United Cajun Navy next to find out what they saw. Get your volume back on. You just messed me up.
The Jackson County coroner says it could be a couple of weeks before we know the cause of death of the 18-year-old. The coroner confirmed through dental records today the body recovered Monday is Wells. But the test results done during today's autopsy by the state medical examiner will take many days to come back. And now a push from law enforcement. Jackson County Sheriff's Department is asking anyone who spoke to Wells on the island to contact them. They also ask that you look through your photos and videos if you were on the island for any sight of Wells. Notably, they also told us there is a lot of chatter on social media, and they asked the public to give compassion and privacy to Wells's family. Also announced today, civil rights lawyer Ben Crump says he is representing the family, saying in part, quote, "They deserve the truth. We will not rest until every fact about what happened to Nolan on Horn Island is brought to light." All of this comes after Wells did not return after a 4th of July boating trip. This resulted in a multi-agency response before Wells's body was found in the water just off the northwestern tip of Horn Island.
All right. So, Ebony, if the tables were turned, say it was a white kid who was unalived, law enforcement would likely already be interrogating black boys and their parents, especially with the sus circumstances, in my opinion. So that's the thing is, I agree with you 2000%. Okay. But are we saying that the law enforcement didn't interview these white kids and their family? Because I'm pretty sure they did. That's how we're getting these statements out there from a friend that says, hey, I wasn't even the person I was the person fighting, not him. I'm pretty sure not only did they talk with law enforcement, but law enforcement said they are cooperating. All right. Clearly. Right. So he's saying all people in Mississippi KK. Who said that? Wait, what? I don't think, what? Did anybody make that statement? I don't think so. Justice Jane, he got the bow in front of the boat and fell off and drowned. All right, let's continue. Right now, this is all we have right now is speculation and a little bit of information. So United Cajun Navy, that's them, right? They've got drones out there and they obviously helped in the search. And they also want to tell you what they saw and why the rumors need to stop. Okay, so let's get into that. Thank you guys. Hit that like button. Don't forget, if you leave, hit the like button on your way out. If you just came in, we're going to get into this. I'm going to gift another membership here in a bit. Thank you guys for being here. You're awesome. All right. United Cajun Navy. I love it. You guys should go sub up to them as well. They only have about 5,000 subscribers, and I am certain they want to grow this channel. All right. 54,000 views here. 5,000 subs, UCN, United Cajun Navy. Go sub up to them. Help with their cause.
People need relief. They need it right away. Fortunate death of an 18-year-old football star in South Mississippi. So, Josh, July 4th, we think we have the day off, but we get a call. Young man's missing off of Horn Island, Mississippi. You eventually got in touch with the mother. Let's take it from the top.
Absolutely. So July 4th, right, and everybody's out there doing their thing. You know, I live out on the river, so I know what to expect sometimes when people party on that river. Start getting phone calls, frantic messages on social media, help, help, help. You know, my cousin, my friend, and then, you know, I dig into it a little bit.
Now, I got to tell you, this is what a parent should do, right? Absolutely. I am 100% with Nolan Wells' family, his mom and his dad. They love him. Right? They just want answers. And that I agree with. That the fact that his mom called them and said, I need you to get out there with the search. Man, what a beautiful mom. What beautiful parents. When all of these other parents are hiding behind and not even telling us, not searching, not doing a damn thing. His parents are going above and beyond to find out what happened to him. Right? Crump trying to make it something like it's exactly. And that's what we're talking about. Something that it's not. We don't know what happened, so don't say race until there's proof. That race has nothing to do with this at the point until they brought it in. All right? Right, here's the United Cajun Navy guy you probably recognize. All right? He's all over YouTube.
Give yourself and Todd a call, said, hey, we got a hot one. Reach out to the mother reaches out to me. And it was bad. It was, you know, your gut just drops. Yeah. So got that phone call, had some communication with mom, started asking her the tough questions, you know, and unfortunately, sometimes those questions are, they're not nice or friendly. And I told her, you know, from the beginning, hey, I'm going to ask you some stuff about your son. I just need the truth because it helps us, you know, find out what's truly going on. And it's, you know, 18 years old. Has he been drinking? Do you know if he's drinking or
the previous day. And yes, but I also asked her a question that was very interesting. I asked her if he could swim. And yes, he had taken swimming lessons as a child.
Yeah.
Extremely athletic.
Yeah, definitely.
You know,
6'1", 180 pounds, good shape, playing junior college football. You know, was in the middle of training. Matter of fact, there was some talk about how he wanted to kind of take it easy because he had a Monday morning workout he wanted to be fresh for and all that kind of stuff.
It's a shame. Every story that I've heard about this young man was good.
Yeah,
you know,
he's a
like
rock star.
Absolutely.
Tons of friends, tons of everybody.
Yeah, everybody loved him. All right, according to them. Now this seems to be a beach. All right, I've never been there, but I'm looking at ocean, beach, and ocean. All right, and again, many people that know how to swim drown because of a current or because of they just got tired swimming. They've been drinking all day. It's hot. What have you? Maybe they bumped their head. Maybe a jellyfish freaking. I'm not saying in that case because we would know if that happened. All right. Not sure if all the boys or the man on the boat spoke to Lee. There was one friend that said law enforcement never spoke to him. And there's a possibility law enforcement never spoke to that one guy. But that's not to discredit the other 5 guys that they talked to that are cooperating. And that sucks. Yeah, it could be stomach cramps. It could have been anything. It doesn't matter if you know, I can swim too. I'm a freaking great swimmer. But throw me out into Santa Cruz Ocean after drinking all day and being tired. And man, a current might just take me too. All right, let's continue.
Community knew him. I got a lot of people I personally know from that part of the coast who had children his age. They known him since they were little, talked about how bubbly and kind he was. And it's like, man, to know this kid's love him, please find him, please find him.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to do our best.
Absolute stud on the football field.
Yeah.
You know,
quarterback in high school, wide receiver for college, right? So just
played
all-around athlete.
D2. I think that's played Division II.
Southwest, yeah.
But with some aspirations and some potential of being a D1 athlete.
Yeah,
right.
Transfer up.
Yeah. And again, you know, it's hearing these stories just about the kid, about, you know, Nolan. There was one story in particular that, you know, really said a lot about the person that he was, a good Samaritan, and really had a good heart. At one point in school, there was you know, what I like to call an exceptional child with some learning disabilities. And Nolan had everybody in the class not raise their hand so this kid could raise his hand and answer the question, right? So it's just a feel-good thing, and it makes me learn a lot about the person and then about the crowd he hangs out.
It does make me wonder why they're putting race into this, because he seems to be very friendly with his white friends. Like, they seem to be really good friends, and it seems that he hangs out with those white friends all the time. So why now are we saying that his white friends are racist and they killed him because he's black? That's essentially what I'm getting out of it. And shout out to Pino. All right. Rest in peace, Nolan. Thank you for stopping by, buddy. Everybody I think on this channel is now subbed up to Pino. Every time I go into your live chat, they're all over there. So great choice, guys. I like Pino. They keep it real. All right. Go sub up to him. Drop the link if one of y'all would. All right, let's continue. This is great to hear, because this guy was out there. He took the phone call from Nolan's mom and helped proceed with the search. And he's saying his message is what we saw and why the rumors need to stop, right? He got an idea of what it looked like in reality of this case.
Out with.
Right.
Doesn't take away from the mission. It actually adds to the mission. So again, got the phone call from the mother. We put action into play really, really quick. You were there.
Yeah, so
you were on the coast.
We'll just go with the timeline. Like, you know, talk about the call on 4th of July. That was Saturday night. By Sunday morning, there was kind of no new news, and we had a couple of our Mississippi chapter volunteers reach out and say, hey, I got a boat, I got a drone. We went out there. They canvassed the island. They physically went on the island, flew the drone, ran a grid with their boat, put the drone up, looking in the water, looking over land. Even went to the center of the island where they had the lagoons and stuff. They sent me pictures saying, hey, look, there's cactus, there's thorny brush. There's no way he walked over here barefoot and fell in the lagoon. And so they spent the better part of the day out there, called it quits when the weather picked up. And that's when we huddled that night and decided, hey, it's time to go to the air. So we decided to put a bird up on Monday morning, July 6th.
Yep. So we had, so it was a donated bird, actually.
Yeah. Another volunteer reached out and said, hey, I got a plane in Gulfport, happy to go fly. I'm like, yep, that's, he's speaking my language. So we met up at first light
Wait, let's talk about this plane because I was going to go too. And it's that experimental aircraft.
So,
dude, I don't need that.
For those of you that don't know, experimental, the classification of experimental is either experimental or certified. Certified is the FAA designation that it's like a manufacturer that the FAA knows well, they know everything about the plane. But if you want to have worked on it, you have to have an A&P, an actual aircraft mechanic.
So autopsy and medical examiner report, I'm not sure that it's going to be released directly to the public. We don't know when it's coming. They don't owe us anything. They don't have to give us an autopsy or medical examiner report if it preserves the case. If they think this is foul play and they don't want people to know what happened so that people don't know what happened unless they're involved in it, then they're going to keep it quiet. Now, the mom and the family, right? Him and his mom's family did an independent autopsy and toxicology. So we'll find out then. C's death, you have no crime. You have no C cause of death, you have no crime. We don't even have a crime yet. Now this didn't happen. I mean, we talked about this, Empress Raven. We talked about it earlier, and it has been kind of debunked by it. Yeah, there's going to be 2 autopsies because they're paying for an independent one. We talked about what was released and the video, and they claim that it wasn't Nolan. We did show that earlier, though. All right. So if you're talking about this, let me see if this is what you're talking about, because we went over all this in the first hour and a half. All right. Are you talking about this where it says Nolan and then his friends and they're questioning if he was in a fight? Right. This is if Nolan Wood's parents don't come out with a public statement making this about race, when there's a video of a heated argument. Oh, hold on. Then that should tell you all you need to know going forward. Let's see. I don't see. Yeah, there is no merit for that. All right. Yeah, I saw the pool party picture too, and that hasn't weighed either way. So we covered that at the beginning with the pool party as well. There's a lot of things that people are like, wait, what does that have to do with anything? Well, it has to do with it just because it's pure speculation at this point. And look here, I'll do this real quick. There it is. There's the pool party that we talked about. Well, I want to know how that weighs into this. Is this because we're saying he made it back, right? He made it back and then they killed him after, and it was, the white people didn't like him because he was black and he was messing around. I mean, this is right from Attorney Crump, amplifying all the information, right? 2 new pictures. Did Nolan's friend delete this? And what's up with the comments as the boat was being cleaned? Again, we saw that, right?
Comment if
Let's
true.
take a look.
She's alleging that the boat was cleaned at 3 a.m. 3 days ago. All of this information is coming from the Instagram of Ben Crump, which, look, none of this is verified. And I'm going to get to the bottom of these 2 photos in this video.
I'm Kimberly. I'm a former law professor with the JD LLM, a musical artist, a comedian.
Okay, now this raises some alarms. I don't know if this is true, but I've just read that they...
Okay, so the allegations are coming from this Instagram account, and pretty much they're saying that the boat that Nolan Wells was last seen in was actually seen being cleaned in front of Judge Cole's house at 3 a.m., which would be obviously super suspicious if it was happening. So I took it upon myself to see who White Lotus Living is. How would they know this information that not a lot of us know about yet? White Lotus is a small business, and they use their Instagram account for advertising. And after looking them up, you can see that White Lotus Living is an Australian store specializing in wellness, spiritual, and home lifestyle. They sell things like crystals.
Why we
realize that they're actually doing a in-person showing of their merchandise, and the location is in Kiribati.
What is this?
Are probably dumb enough to buy their gems and crystals and those sorts of things, and they're probably just
what
in
is
the pool
this?
with people.
I don't know what that is, but let's come back.
See that?
I love how simple it sounds when you roll in here, and I wish that were the case. I totally do, Empress. I wish that were the case, that it just came in. Breaking news. He got into a fight at the pool party after members of his friends say he was already gone and he never came back. breaking news, the fight at the pool party. Who was it between? Now we know who killed him, right? I wish it were that simple, but it frankly is not. Yes, they should absolutely find out what time it is. They should interview every single person there, right? But it's just not that simple, unfortunately. Hey, Jay, just sitting back, listen to this. I just don't see foul play. Me either. These guys that were with him were his buddies. Yes, correct. People are almost laughing at it because when I look it up behind the scenes and I see the girl that he was dating, very whitest of white, pretty blonde, blue eyes, right? Just he hangs out with and he dates white people, white women, white friends. So what happened? What went wrong on that day? Why did they get racist on him that day? There's what, 20 to 1 in that pool? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. There's about 23 white or not African American to 1. So when did that come into the case that we just don't like black people? We don't want this black guy picking up on our white girls. Let's beat them up. All right. I wish it were that simple, but it's just frankly not. Flojo, have you seen the comment from Lisa Spencer? Has anyone debunked? No, I have not seen that. You're welcome to let me know what that means. All right. I know that, but that's the thing. Who is the chick from the party that saw Nolan beat up near the pool spitting blood? Where is that? Where's the blood they collected? Where's the people? It's too convenient for me right now for someone to say he was in the phone or he was in the pool and he got beat up and it was a bunch of white guys, right? It's too convenient. So I don't know that that's the case. White people who love their blood. Exactly. All right. Thank you. Rest in peace, Nolan. We want the truth. Yes. Choco latte. We want the truth. We don't want this nonsense mumbo jumbo. But anyway, I mean, there he is. Let's get the timestamp. Let's see how many of these 23 to 1 people didn't like him, have racist comments, thought he was a whatever, right?
Thought it was funny and weird that an attorney is posting hype reels of himself on his Instagram account. Okay, so back to the photo that was posted by Ben Crump that allegedly depicts Nolan Wells in the background in the pool with people on the night he allegedly went missing. Now, they're alleging that this picture was deleted by one of Nolan's friends once, I guess, they found out he went missing. Now, in today's age, it's hard to tell what picture is legit and not, but I still plugged it into Grok Super just in case. And it said that the picture looks mostly real, but has some suspicious elements worth noting, especially the areas you circled in red. Now, I didn't circle anything in red. This is how the picture was put online. Lighting and water glow. The underwater pool lighting creates a strong greenish blue glow on people in the foreground, which is common in night pool photos. However, the transition and how it hits some bodies and faces feels a bit inconsistent or overly uniform in spots. And yeah, I agree. And just look at the way that Nolan's actually looking back at the camera.
He is looking at the camera.
Right? It is kind of suspicious. And why is everyone else up close to the camera for the picture? Why do the people in the background, why are they off doing their own thing? Look at the colors between the water, green and blue. I don't know. It doesn't look like a super authentic picture to me. It could be. We just don't know. Remember, a lot of these photos and videos are being amplified by Ben Crump, and he has the money and power to defend himself just in case he gets hit with a defamation case.
All right. So you guys see what's happening here. This is pretty much the entirety of this situation or this case. We don't even know if it's foul play or just a tragic accident, right? We want to know, though. That's what we're here for.
And everything has to be logged. Experimental just means that you're allowed to work on it yourself. And a lot of times experimental planes, some people, like you hear about people buying a kit plane, putting together themselves, and then they can work. So the point is that like experimental doesn't mean like, we don't know if this thing's going to fly or not. It just means that you can experiment with it. You can enhance it and all that. You don't have to log everything and get permission from the FAA. So having known that, I was not at all concerned about. And the Tecnam, the Tecnam 2008, and there's several models of the Tecnam. They just came out with a new 4-seater that looks pretty badass. But it's got a Rotax 912. Those engines go into a lot of newer planes. They're very fuel efficient.
Why are you talking about that? Plane show, Rage. Okay, Rage on Facebook. Tank in his little Kia.
That's all the rage now on Facebook.
Right? Yeah. Let those challenges keep happening.
Ooh. There. Horn Island. All right, all the way south of.
We start, traversing back and forth over towards the northeast corner of Ship Island, and we're looking at the northwest corner of Horn Island, which was the last place that Nolan was seen by an eyewitness. So we're flying for a couple hours, and we start making one of our tracks back north. noticed a couple of boats on the beach that weren't there before. We descended, we started circling. We could see that there was and there was more boats coming in, like in a line, and they were obviously law enforcement boats or Coast Guard or whatever. They were official vessels.
Now he's talking about what he saw when he went out there. And hello from California to Newton, West Virginia. What's up, guys? If Nolan stayed, then who was hanging out with? Pretty simple. Exactly. There's so many things that are simple in this case. You know what's simple? It would be very simple if what Raven came in and said, hey, Nolan was there and somebody beat him up. He got into a fight. Man, wouldn't that be easy to say, oh, there it is. I talked to that kid or I talked to that girl and she said this and there's actually blood still on the whatever, right? When is Nolan's autopsy? We don't know. They don't have to tell us either. All right, let's continue. Better late than never. Hit that like button, y'all. I'm going to gift a membership here in a bit.
And they were starting to set up a command post on the beach, and we figured something was going on, something was found, and then we get the call. I get the call from you or the text from you that said, hey, they think they found them. And so we did an RTB, and then so I get back, kind of flip it back over to you. You're in Ocean Springs with Nolan's mom.
So I was at the boat.
From there.
So I was at the boat.
This is Monday mid-morning.
9:00.
Yeah,
9:15 somewhere in there. So I got the call. Obviously, we were coordinating with the local law enforcement, Jackson County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, and great to work with.
Now, here's my problem with this, guys. The biggest problem I have with this, and I'm not looking at any kind of race. That has absolutely nothing to do with this at this point. Race, right? I see 23 people, 23 that are not black to 1. Okay, but my problem with this is there are a bunch of kids out there drinking. They're out there drinking all day for hours long, drinking, partying, having sex, making out, who knows what. Okay, that's my problem with this, is there a bunch of kids drinking. All right, what happened in between the drinking, what happened after the drinking, I don't know. But when you get a bunch of kids, and I'm going to tell you, I can pull up statistics, and I will, of how many times that there's a few, some kind of rage fueled, alcohol fueled situation that happens, and you're going to get the deal within a month or 6 months. These kids will talk. All right. These kids are not hardcore criminals. The friend of Noah or the friend of this guy, there's 23 to 1. Any one of those people, they're not going to have the same interest as maybe 5 of them that's alleged to have done something to them. Kids talk. This is almost equivalent to high school. When you see those kids and you see the age and you see them drinking, they're always going to talk. They're either super masterminds, and every one of them got their story straight. Every one of them told the cops the right thing they wanted to hear, and they're all sticking tight. Or there simply wasn't foul play. Okay? There's either or. All right? So first problem is a bunch of children drinking. Hours and hours of drinking.
One of the reasons I got the call initially from Nolan's mother, as well as some of the families, that they felt that more could be done, right? They personally felt, and this is with every family or every person that's missing, hey, we want everything out there. And obviously we do that. That first day, that Sunday, we had 4 boats, 2 drones, multiple people on the ground. Our seaplanes were on standby as well. But after the island was clear, there was really no use for a seaplane, just based on a float plane, we'll call it, right? So yeah, I get the call from the sheriff's department, and I'm almost to the Lake Morris boat launch, where the ICP was, and I found out before the mother. They called me.
ICP, Incident Command Post,
right? So right when he went out there, again, this was, it took them 24 hours to even start that. All right. Now let me give you a face real quick, because I know you're gonna see it anyway. Here's Katie. Here's the girl. Here's the female that allegedly Nolan stayed behind for. Okay, Katie McCormick, Pascagoula, was that Mississippi? All right, there's the girl that he stayed behind for. It's not some kind of like secret. It's not somebody that people didn't know. It's not a girl that that doesn't exist or law enforcement doesn't get to talk to. All right, so that's her. That's Katie, and her mom's made a statement publicly, in her name. All right. So that's her picture. That's Katie. That's a girl. Whitest of white, right? That someone was making a little bit of a joke earlier and saying what his white friends didn't like that he was dating a white girl, a black guy dating a white girl. And where did that problem start? Because we haven't heard any of that. We haven't heard no such thing about racism in this case. All right. So there you go. There's Katie. And I'm sure law enforcement has already gotten her statement and a timeline. Now, do they need to keep us informed of that? Absolutely not. Just like they don't need to tell us what the toxicology or the medical examiner has to say about any of this. All right, back to getting on the boat, finding his body before the parents.
The sheriff.
Everybody knows our acronym. RTB means return to base, by the way. I said that earlier.
We need an acronym jar. You put a buck in every time you use it.
Yeah.
So I get the phone call from the sheriff. Then the mother calls me immediately after. Sheriff calls me. He calls the mom. Mom calls me. And I asked her, she was obviously got the news.
Yeah.
I asked her where she was. She was about 10 minutes out. So I'm at the ICP right there at the boat launch, literally just starting to meditate for a minute, right? Because I knew what was coming. Mother and father get there. And this is one of those stories that'll get you. Car pulls up. I see them coming. They're white Volkswagen, whatever.
Yeah.
And mom gets out and runs to me. I mean, literally runs to me 15 yards, gives me the biggest hug ever, in tears, and collapses in my arms. It's one of those moments I won't forget. And it's a driving moment, right? From there, we literally sat on the ground, Brian. It was interesting. They offered the command post, the command vehicle for us to go sit in the air conditioning. And I'm on the ground. She's on the ground. She's crying. I got my arm around her.
Now, mind you, this is Nolan's mom. Nolan's mom reached out to the Cajun Navy. Okay. And all of these cases that we've been covering, they offered their help. All right. They offered their help. It was one of the last cases. You guys can fill me in because I can't remember one of the last cases that we covered. Was it Nancy Guthrie? I think it's Nancy Guthrie. They offered to come in and do a boots on the ground search. Boots on the ground, the heat transfer or heat sensor, whatever, the drones. They said, hey, we're going to go out there. They're not asking for money. Let us do a search. They don't want that. All right. They don't want that. But in this case, his mom got a hold of him. Nolan's mom got a hold of this guy. And now we're hearing that story. Hey, Julie Stockmeyer, how you doing? Marlon, darling. All right, let's continue.
Nolan's father was there. And it was just one of those surreal moments where, we're all saying a prayer and we know that that's the beginning of some really hard times.
The worst day. We meet people in their worst day.
Absolutely. So a lot of times people ask me how I do it, right? Or how we do it as a team when we find cadavers or people who are unalived. That doesn't bother me. Those moments where it's the family.
The people that are still alive. That's
what gets me.
Yeah.
So from there, sheriff's department, the people were starting to gather, right? People were gathering up. They were letting them through. Family, large family, great people. So they actually moved his remains to another location, so they could offload and get him where he needed to go.
Did they helicopter him out, or did they put him on a boat? Because when I got back to Gulfport Airport, I saw the medevac spinning up, and I thought maybe could have been going on a routine call for the hospital, but I thought maybe they were going out to the island. I didn't watch them depart, so I don't know.
All right, now look, I mean, everybody's talking, but law enforcement isn't. All right, how do we know stuff is deleted? How they delete it? How do we know they're not investigating? I don't know. How do we know that? How is the family saying they're not investigating, they're not doing anything? How do we know that? How do we know they're not doing anything? We don't even have a cause of death or an autopsy, and the family's conducting their own. Let me show you something real quick. I want to definitely play both sides of it. It's Switzerland today, guys. All right. So a couple hours ago, new questions about the Horn Island narrative, and everybody's coming out today because of the new information about a fight and what have you. Now, this person says, truth gang. I want to be very clear. I'm not accusing anyone of harming Nolan Wells, but I do not believe Trayston's statement. I'm also not willing to accept every statement being put out publicly without scrutiny. One of the most repeated claims in this case came from Trayston Shepard, who told ABC News that Nolan stayed behind on Horn Island because of a girl. The problem is that Nolan's own family is now publicly pushing back on the narrative, which they can't possibly know. I know I heard the father on the Good Morning America or whatever that show was saying he always taught him to stay in groups. Great. Absolutely. Stay in groups. But when you're about to get your booty and you're about to get the girl, you're not going to be in a group. So I'm just going to take that couple steps back. I get it. I do. All right. She said they never met and were not considering him one of Nolan's childhood friends or best friends. The mom, Christine, stated that she and her family do not know Trayston in that way, which is interesting because he's saying he's the best friend. All right. Including Jalen and Javon Williams as people who truly fit that description. That immediately raises questions. If Nolan's family doesn't know Trayston as one of Nolan's closest friends, then how much weight should the public place on his account of Nolan's final hours? Again, more questions. How does Nolan voluntarily choose to stay behind? Was he present with that decision? Did Nolan personally tell him that? Right? And it goes on and on and on. Who verified it? Where's the evidence? Where are the messages? Where are the witnesses? Right? So we're just taking a look at what the people behind the scenes are saying. Guys, we all have the same information at this point. Nothing really transcending has come out from today. Now, this is Trayston Shepard. I don't know what his parents know. I don't know what the closeness with this guy is. But what I got to say is if Trayston is lying about what happened, he's going to be locked up, and so are all the other kids. All right. If they're just blatantly lying and covering up this crime, boy, are they going to be in freaking trouble. Okay. That's the one that said that Nolan wasn't fighting. He wasn't doing anything. That was him. All right. Like I said, he's going to be in big trouble and he's going to face, murder charges if he covered something at murder and then some. All right. Let's get back to it. Let's take a look.
I have no clue because we ended up I went to the coroner's office.
Yeah.
The mother asked me to be a part of that. And I've been with the family throughout a lot of the steps,
right.
Which it makes me feel good.
What's really interesting is for the family to have this guy with them, just constantly with them, doing it stuff, holding the mom when she fell and crying, being with them and anywhere, doing what they need. But then the team claiming it's a complete racist thing with this, white guy that's probably the whitest white guy with the big giant beard and just heart of gold helping the family. And then this racism narrative. Now, I do understand Mississippi and the history, but guys, but Nolan Wells is being forgotten about. And the actual events of that day, we don't even know. We only have 3 or 4 statements. This happened. 2 days later, we found his body.
Great people, but they have got a path ahead of them.
They do. Right. And speaking of that, so you have the whole, he's missing. Okay, now we know for a fact that he did not survive. We do have his remains, though. Yeah. But now we start getting into the controversial moments. So the story is that as we've been told, it's been repeated a lot now in the media, that Nolan went out to Horn Island on a boat with some of his longtime friends. They get out there around 3:00. The operator of the boat notices that it's taking on water. The bilge's not working. He wants to take the boat back to the boat launch. They decide to pack up and leave. Nolan is talking to some other friends at that point, says, no, I'm good. I'm going to hang back and I'll catch a ride with somebody else. His friends leave. Shortly after that, presumably, there's another report that another friend of his saw Nolan closer to 4:00, still on the island, talking to a different group of friends. Yep. Didn't hear anything.
I'm not feeling that, Empress Raven. I'm not really feeling that. I wouldn't turn a phone over when I got back to shore. If I was hanging out with my friend all day and they ended up leaving their phone on the boat, which happens quite a bit. We had the boat. We always had the boat, right? We were the ones with the boat. We're the ones with the RV, we're the place where people leave their stuff. Okay. Now, if somebody left their stuff, I wouldn't just hand the phone back over. I'd take it with me. And then later on, when I call and tell his mom, hey, he's missing, then I would turn the phone back over. So I'm wondering from you, was there a problem with the phone being turned over? Is that a controversy at this point? Did somebody have the phone and refuse to turn it over? That's what I want to know. I would never have just turned it over. I'd keep it and say, nah, man, I'm going to give that to him when he gets it. I'm not going to assume that he drowned or died. I know, exactly, Amethyst. And this is coming from people that have experience with boating and water outing and all that kind of stuff, drinking in the sun, in the heat. Guys, all right? I would never do that. I would never just hand my friend's phone over. I'd keep it. All right? Friends at 4:30, according to Judge Stepmom, left it. So they were there from 3 to 4:30, and by 11 he was missing. Is that the story?
I haven't heard any credible eyewitnesses who saw him after that, but that puts him on the island, presumably after his original friend group left. So now we have the gap of from then, about 4 o'clock on July 4th, to when he went in the water, which we don't know. I'm assuming that was before dark, before all the boats left, and he did not make it back out of the water alive. So now you have the beast of the social media.
Oh my God!
Of people, clickbaiters and rage baiters, going out there and making up all kind of stories. And now you have these kids who are longtime friends of Nolan's who are getting death threats. It's compounding their already shock and grief over the loss of their friend. Probably feeling partially responsible, if not, just guilty anyway. Just like, man, I should have just made him get in the damn boat. So, man, we came here together. We're leaving together.
Right. And typically that's what we do, right? We typically have a plan with our friends. We tell our children, but it doesn't always work out that way. In a perfect world, we would like it to work out that way, right? Of course. But there's so many unanswered questions. I just can't jump to the conclusion that this was some racist-fueled crime. We don't even know if it was a crime. Why would he stay alone with no friend or no phone? That doesn't make sense. Absolutely. If the girl was gone and they were gone and they didn't have a phone, then 110% something nefarious went on, right? Why would you do that? But that's not what they're saying.
It's bro code, and I'm not blaming the kids. I'm saying, especially if you're nervous about a boat taking on water, you're like, look, we got to go. You're a grown man. I can't make you come, but we're leaving. You got to make sure you get your way back. So that, and again, I'm not trying to make up facts or scenarios here. This is what we've been told so far. It's going to be thoroughly investigated. There's a lot of eyeballs on this. The story will come out. Hopefully, some more consistent stories will come out that'll make a little more sense than the ones we've heard.
I've heard so much, and I'm gonna put it like this.
Yeah,
I've heard so much bullshit.
Yeah, there is a lot of bullshit out there.
A lot of bullshit. And thank you, Flojo. Again, we're just speculating at this point and trying to debunk some of that junk behind the scenes. Now, I'm gonna bring you to this really quickly because this one is in response. And again, either these children are freaking mastermind kids that know how to get away with a crime, or they're just telling us what they know, right? Alicia Spencer. Now, this is in response to that video coming out saying, hey, Nolan did go back. There was a fight, and that's not cool. Some racial thing happened. But Alicia Spencer, in response to that, says, bro, no, didn't get into a fight at the island. It was our other friend, No, and Wyatt. Did get into an altercation right after that, not even 10 minutes later, because Wyatt took his phone and Evan was trying to be hard. Nolan was definitely screaming, give me my fucking phone back and I won't use that. What's wrong with you? So they all calmed down. So that's when we head to Evan's house because he was throwing a pool party. So yes, No came to the party and yes, we was drinking, but Wyatt and Evan and Morgan and Andrew was really high. And I think they was trying to get Lucy and Natalia to try some as well. But then they got into it again at the pool party. It didn't end until almost 11. I know Evan's mom and kicked us all out. Once they started fighting, it was Andrew and Evan and Wyatt and Warren was basically recording and laughing and saying, we got him. Oh, we get him. Get him. And all I could hear was No screaming, Mom. So I tried to help. Then his mom come out screaming, yelling, drunk, make us leave, and was saying she gonna call the cops if we don't leave her house. But they didn't let No leave, and No was by the basketball goal that was inside the pool. He was leaning over beside it, gasping for air and spitting up blood. Now his mom I just got off the phone with him. So it was No is what they're saying. And that was the blood from them and all the other fights that went down. All right. I don't know who No and Wyatt and all these people are. Right. So, I mean, again, Switzerland. I'm only showing you what I have and speculation. And how did we get here with this amount of information?
Put it like this. Number one, to the people out there that are calling me a racist. Yeah. I'm the farthest thing from a racist, number one. I spent 19 days walking the streets in North Baton Rouge looking for Jadarius Manyweather in what they call the worst part of Baton Rouge. I'm going to tell you, I'm a part of that family. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Farthest thing from a racist. So if anybody out there wants to call me the face for racism, on Facebook, get up from behind that keyboard and come say it to me.
So I wish that, I love this guy. He's like, if I'm racist, come prove it. But if his friend is saying, you see where the conflicting stories are coming in, I want that person the one that I just read to stand on this. If that's the case, then freaking come forward or go to law enforcement. Why are you going to social media and not giving a time frame? Why don't you say, hey, freaking, he did come back. I'm a witness. Let me talk to law enforcement now. I was freaking there. I saw it. He got into a fight. He was there way after they said they left him on an island. Screw this. Yeah, I guess no is Nolan. Again, I'm just bringing stuff out from people that are throwing everything but the kitchen sink at this. All right, all of their fights, but the logic being the person that ended up on a live just so happened to not be part of the so-called all the fights. Okay, no is Nolan. Thank you. Yeah, I'm bringing you what I have. Again, we're Switzerland. We're not on any side, and I'm sure not going to feed into that rage or the race bait.
My face. I'm fed up with that shit.
If you want to donate to the United Cajun Navy, you can use Visa, MasterCard, American Express to cover, but we don't take the race card, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
right, exactly.
But, I always say we're not racist. We stereotype. It's a lot more efficient. So we can be judgmental. Ain't no doubt about it, but that's human nature.
So here's my thing: is that
racist ain't it?
That card's being played out there, right?
Yeah, and it's being played by people looking for likes and clicks,
right?
Trying to get
the family. Number one, they don't need it. Family doesn't need it. They've turned social media off. Good for them. We've discussed it, and she doesn't need it. The family doesn't need it.
Well, and then of course now the family has retained Ben Crump, who's a well-known civil rights lawyer, and say what you want about him or the fact that they retained him. But what I will say about Crump is that whatever case he's affiliated with gets a lot of attention. And I believe this case should keep continuing a lot of attention. There's still answers that family deserves. So I'm not begrudging of that. But one thing I will say that the statements that the family has put out, I think have met the moment as far as the public and the community is concerned. Like, let's wait. And I thought the statement the local NAACP put out over there was very responsible, saying, we're watching, we have eyeballs. We all know what our job is. We're watching this. We're not letting it go, but let's wait for the facts to come out. Let's not.
Right. We're 10 days in and we don't have a medical examiner report, an autopsy, a toxicology. We have nothing, but we have very, very, very conflicting statements all across the board. All across the board. Just a ton of conflicting statements. Now, to be fair, let's look at this. Nolan was always taking pictures, always making videos. So I would expect, and again, this is just an assumption, I would expect something in Snapchat, right? Both accounts were empty. There was no video saved. There was nothing there. I just find that hard to believe from the whole day. Now, that's Nolan's mom on his phone. But guys, I'm going to play this for a minute. It's a minute. I'm telling you, when you're out on a boat, you didn't get out there till 3, and you've been drinking, you're talking to this girl, you are not on your phone taking pictures of your bro's abs. You're not doing that. You're out there. Your phone's put away so it doesn't get wet, and you're enjoying it. But let's see what they have to say about this. I'm gonna get down with what they're saying. I get it, and I have to say at the same time, why would he be on Snapchat taking pictures when everyone's phone is put away on a boat? Because that's what happens. All right, let's see what they say. All right, this is the family, and it's about a minute. Family and friends speak out about this investigation or lack thereof.
Did you have concerns about the phone when you got it back?
Absolutely.
What were those concerns?
Just because when my sister and I went through the phone, it was just too clean. And I'm sure Javon can attest to this. Nolan was always taking pictures, always making videos. So I would expect something in the Snapchat, right? Both accounts were empty. There was no saved videos. Like it was nothing there.
From the whole day?
And I just find that very hard to believe from the whole day. And so that's why I was kind of like, wait, like this doesn't feel like this is really starting not to feel right. Especially once we got that phone and kind of started going through it. And like I said, I just don't see that. Like I know my child, right? You know, no parent is perfect. We don't know everything 100% about our kids, but I know more. I know my child well, especially with the way he moves, the things he does. And if he has a phone out all the time at home, he's definitely going to have a phone out whenever he's out and he's, you know, doing things with his friends. So that was just really hard to believe that there was nothing there.
And see, you guys, I mean, it's literally them saying, well, this is what we taught him and he didn't follow that. So, yeah, now I'm going to speculate. That's all we have. Now, I look at the timeline. I'm looking at you guys in chat and I'm not pinning it because I don't want to switch up the entire timeline on people just by what we heard. So when I look at it and you say he did come back on the 5th, but then I look at the actual timeline that's put out by law enforcement, there's no debate on this. Law enforcement timeline has stayed the same. That July 3rd in the evening, Nolan had dinner with the family. Okay, July 3rd. Now, July 4th, he disappeared on July 4th. He went with his friends at 3:00 in the afternoon to Horn Island, a remote barrier that you see. He was last seen on July 4th at 3 p.m., according to friends. All right. Sheriff told the news that he chose to stay there. Now, this is still part of the timeline on July 4th. Then on July 4th at 11:00 in the evening, his mom on July 4th receives a call from one of the friends and they report him missing just 7 hours after he was there. Now, July 5th, Jackson County Sheriff's Department sets up a command post at Lake Mars boat launch. They've got U.S. Coast Guard, Gulf Island National Shore, Mississippi Department of Marines, United Cajun Navy, and multiple local agencies. They're also conducting a search by boat, helicopter, and drone, as well as ground team searches. July 6th, 8:45 in the morning, his body was found. A National Park Service ranger discovers a body on the northwest end of Horn Island. The sheriff acknowledges the body matches Nolan's description, but withholds confirmation pending the coroner ID. In the afternoon, Nolan's mom publicly confirms that is her son's body. Next day, July 7th, Jackson County coroner confirmed the body is Nolan using dental records. DNA is still pending. Autopsy scheduled. Cause and manner of death not released. That same day he was identified, family hires civil rights attorney Ben Crump. 3 days later, the investigation expands July 10th through 11th, and family expresses discomfort with the early sheriff statements calling for transparency. Then Reverend Al Sharpton states the race cannot be ruled out as a factor. Investigators began looking into reports of a possible altercation on the island before Nolan's disappearance. So now they're saying before his disappearance and then he disappeared. So there's no official timeline change, just so you guys know. Not yet. All right.
It's not jump to conclusions, start accusing people of stuff. Thought it was a good job by them to not fan the flames. And so
I spoke to the mother today.
Yeah. Okay.
On her way to DC.
As we, we're recording
on my way
this
here.
on July, what's today? Thursday, July the 9th?
The 9th.
Yeah.
So I spoke to Mama today and I speak to her every day.
Yeah.
Just to touch base with her. I've got 3 calls and I'm
got to work on that racism.
Right.
Yours,
Yeah. Oops. So I have 3 calls I make every day, right? Chadarius's mom Aquarius, whose son is still in the landfill.
Right.
Right. So a month later, we'll get into that one in the next show. I've got Miss Christine, whose son just passed away.
Right.
And then I've got another parent. I don't want to discuss it. I call them just to check on them to see how they're doing.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a racist, but anyway, so that
yeah, it's probably a little difficult for him to be working so closely with people that are pushing for this being a race situation. I feel like that's why he got on here and did the interview. All right, let's continue.
Bullshit that's coming out, and look again, it's rage baiters, race baiters, whatever you want to call it. Color, creed, sexual preference, religion, political party, I don't care. We don't care. We're going to look for whoever needs to be found, right?
Right.
So some of the stories that I've heard, let's talk about some of this.
Well, that's a good time to point out that United Cajun Navy is an organization. We don't make anybody fill out an application in order to get rescued or to get help. No. We don't have any box checking. If you know how to use the internet or a phone, you can find.
Are you black, white, Asian, or multiracial. Oh, you check black. I'm not gonna rescue you.
Find us, and if we can help, we will.
Absolutely. Some of the rumors that are out there, there was an altercation. 18-year-old boys, bunch of boys drinking. Okay, there might be an altercation. Nobody died. Nobody got shot right there.
Right.
At this altercation, this fight, because there were some videos of some people chirping.
Right.
I don't think Nolan was involved with that from the videos
I
I've
was
seen.
told that,
it
didn't have anything to do with him or the group he was with. He was just in the vicinity of it. And again, he had an affinity to try to break up fights.
Yeah.
So if he was in it, he was probably trying to tell people to calm
Right.
down.
Hey, chill out. Y'all go your own ways.
Right.
That he got lost on the island, that he went swimming trying to reach a boat, that there was a boat. I mean, so much stuff. And then you get into the truly hateful things that, hey, there's some stuff. There was a rumor once or twice that I heard he got on the boat and they pushed him off the boat and they hit him in bullshit. They need to stop that.
Right.
The family doesn't need it. The community doesn't need it. And I'm going to say this, us as Americans don't need it because it's nationwide.
Yeah.
I agree with that. And you guys, I gotta tell you, something that stuck with me from everything that I was watching today is regarding this whole race card and how it came out and why we're going there. It's a huge distraction, number one, from Nolan Wells and the death of him. At this point, we're just on all kinds of tangents about it. But guys, you gotta think that this is gonna mess up an investigation and detract from the actual victim of whether he's a victim of drowning or a victim of a racial target, right? Either way, right? You idiots, stop saying inflammation, race. Why do you guys? Okay, so in the Carmelo Anthony case, guys, it stuck with me when he said this. Carmelo Anthony literally could have said, shit, man, I'm sorry. We saw he had some remorse when Carmelo Anthony was actually arrested. He was kind of crying, and we saw a little bit of remorse. Had he stepped up and said, man, I should, I was in the moment of it. I was trying to protect myself. I stabbed him. I'm so sorry that this happened. And, I did do that, but because of this, instead, he decided to pull out the race card, blame the victims, and start this whole race rage. What is it called? Race bait. And he got 35 years. I think had he just showed some remorse, said the same statement about, hey, yeah, this happened. I did this. Here's what happened. And I'm sorry that he died. I'm so sorry to the family. Just be real. Stop hiding behind this shit. He would have probably got 20 years less. So it's making me wonder what is going to happen in this case and what's going to be next with all of this. This like a cloud over Nolan in his case. If he did just drown and there was no foul play, what's going to be the next step to this when the coroner, let's say the coroner comes out and says that they don't see foul play, let's say all across all boards, that not only just the medical examiner and the autopsy from law enforcement, but what about the one that the parents are paying for, the independent autopsy? What if it says the same thing and it all points to a tragic accident? Maybe he has a high level of THC. I'm just making this up, just speculating. Alcohol, THC, and who knows what else. Then what?
And there's death threats that are going out. There's just some hate speech that's going out. And it's from both sides. It's not just black towards white. It's white towards black. I mean, there's some retaliatory comments, and we need to stop it, right? Period, point blank, stop it. I'm hoping that Trump stops it. I'm hoping that Trump stops it. We just need to all get along, right? I mean, that's the thing.
I blame Team USA for getting knocked out by Belgium of the World Cup because now we don't have anything to focus on. We got still like another month and a half before college football starts.
Should we go after the Belgianese? Is that what they're called? Bulgarians?
I heard that Belgium might have they might be working on a nuclear bomb. We might have. No, I'm kidding.
They
You
definitely
make sure you got the United in there. That way you'll get.
All right, guys. So, I mean, we did 2 hours and 15 minutes, and there's a lot that's coming out. Then only outcome should be healing. I agree, Choco Latte, but you know damn well as I do, that's not going to happen with this narrative that we're painting. All right. So I just, I really do want healing to start now for Nolan Wells so that we can focus solely on his case and what really did happen. All right. So that being said, I agree. Remy, I agree. I couldn't have said that better. That in my opinion, I think Crump, Al Sharpton, and the parents don't mean to, but they're going along with it for the ride. And I don't think it's going to be a good ride to take. I don't know. But let me see. Until we hear any evidence of Nolan being on the island after 4:30, then everything points to Nolan getting on the boat with his friends, just like the girl Katie said and her sister. Or you could look at the other way until we see evidence that he was there. Maybe put it that way, because right now when I'm looking at the timeline, guys, I hate to tell you this, but the timeline is not saying, it's not following that timeline whatsoever. So let's wait until either something big happens for me to report on, or until we get a ruling and we can talk about this. But I just wanted to give you guys a bit of my take on this and kind of lay some things out there about this case. Nolan Wells, it's a mystery right now. What really happened on Horn Island? Well, rumors and lies need to stop so that it doesn't continue to hurt this case. And let's find out, what was the medical examiner? What did they report? Is there foul play? Did he have a high alcohol and other things? I guess we'll wait to find out, right? Because I'm certainly not going to continue speculating without any further information. Oh, yeah. Hello, DB Bentley. Thank you so much for that super chat. And everybody else, thank you for the memberships, gifted super chat, super sticker. You guys are great. Thank you. I appreciate you guys recognizing the work that I put into this. Thank you, Tiff, for pointing me in the direction of this case and helping me with the collages and justice for Nolan. All right. If you would, Tiff, I don't know if you already posted this on Ghost, but maybe if you post this on Ghost, people can have a clearer picture of the friends and social media that was removed so they can see for themselves what's actually happening in this case. All right. Jasmine says Nolan Wells was beat to a pulp in that pool. He was taken on a boat late at night and placed in the shallow water. The boat was taken to a friend's house and scrubbed clean and thoroughly, in my opinion. Thank you. In your opinion, thank you. All right, guys, love you. I'm out of here. Happy Tuesday. I'll see you guys. I will see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, guys, love you. Mwah. Thank you. And happy birthday, Melissa. Woo! Shout out to Melissa. Happy birthday, guys. Love you. Good night.
Guilty of crime.
I want to thank you for watching. If you enjoyed my content, please share this video, like, and subscribe. You can also follow me over at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, X, or Gmail. If you'd like to donate to my channel, you can use Cash App or Venmo or PayPal. Thank you very much in advance. Guilty of crime.
Are you guilty of crime?